Awesome. Welcome back. Jump MMA. Oh man. Let me tell you. We've been off for a week. I got busy with other stuff and just didn't have the time to do this. A lot has happened, not just with the production level, but in the wonderful world of MMA.
Lots of it happened.
And boxing. You're going to touch that because unless it's Mayweather, I don't know about it. Unless it's Mayweather, Tyson,
It's a long
Ali.
time removed from Tyson and Ali.
I don't really, I know the Pacquiaos and the big names. I'm like, they used to ask me, do I listen to hip hop? And I'll be like, because I'm black, I guess everybody thinks you listen to hip hop. I'm like, yeah, just the commercial stuff though. So to a stereotypical white person, I'm black, but to like a stereotypical black person, I'm like, no, I don't listen to hip hop because I just know the commercial tracks. You know what I'm saying?
North American black people know they hip hop.
Yeah.
Know they hip hop when it started in New York.
Yeah.
I'm very white to know that.
Yes. Traditional.
Yeah.
Okay, before we go any further, I want to. I pride myself, as I told somebody recently this week, is that I don't remember what it was I was doing, but she's like, do you have to do that? And I'm like, hon, listen, I pride myself in not doing what I have to do, but doing what I want to do.
Yeah.
So if I'm doing it, I want to do it.
You gotta do it.
There's still a process, there's still some things that I have to do, but it's a journey.
We're working on it.
Shout outs to Alberta Sport Development Center. Very, very, very grateful for their existence. Before I go into why I'm very grateful for their existence, I'm going to let you know a little bit about them. Outside of our newest sponsor, is their motto is raising champions at home.
That's a good thing.
That's in line with your values.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and mine as well. Their mission is to provide improved sport experiences for Central Alberta athletes and coaches.
That's awesome.
I'm both an athlete and a coach, and you, I think, are the same in that same predicament.
A little bit.
You know what I mean?
I've coached in the past, not a whole lot,
Right.
so much now, and I used to compete a lot.
Yes. So this is for us. I'm going to give you more information on this. They have an awesome coach development program. Also as a coach, I haven't used their services as yet, but we are in talks and they're very generous. They've given us, I was going to wear this actually, but at the last second I realized that it's a woman's shirt, so I'm just like, I'll just stick with the woman's shirt I already have on. I'm joking. I just stick with not wearing a woman's shirt. So that's their logo. They are helping me with a trip that I'm taking to South Africa next month, actually. Talk more about that in another podcast, but I'm going there for sport, and I can't wait to tell everybody about that. Their vision is to enhance sport in Alberta, and their core values is accountability, support, collaboration, integrity, and innovation. And without them, a lot of the things in this podcast would not be possible. So we thank them. Awesome. Shout out to you, Toya, always providing CBD needs. And shout outs to each and every one of you watching this. Shout outs to our first Twitter follower, at Dank H. Cody. Our first and only right now. And I'm not ashamed to say that.
Hey, it's
because
gotta grow.
When we have 1 million followers, we can refer back to this.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm exhausted from this weekend, not only because of my work, but also because of the fights, the excitement.
There was a lot going on.
A lot going on. I made a lot of notes, but not fight notes. So I'm gonna go off the top. I have some names. I have some fights on the top of my head. So how are we gonna do this? Tell me what's up with you. Tell me something.
Just busy.
What's new?
Busy working.
Working hard?
Busy working, yeah. Doing the mechanic thing, doing the watch fights thing, doing the planning out new training program for myself. Gotta I'm working on it. I gotta get back into the sport too.
Yeah, fair enough.
So
And it's all
busy on that.
it's all a process because I don't have to tell you, but for other people watching,
if you put too much stress on your body too soon, you get injuries early on in training. You get limited in what you can do. You go backwards instead of going forwards, and I don't like the idea of being limited by anything. So it's progression upward and only upward.
right. And the biggest thing for me, I think, is momentum. So like being injured just
It
kills your momentum, and it's sometimes so hard to get off the harder.
Yeah.
Something I think I suffer from. So like I'll get injured, and the injury will heal in, let's just say, 2 weeks. I should rest 1 week and then get back to it on the 4th week. But it just turns out to be 8 weeks. And then I'm still not done anything because the momentum of not doing something continues.
It gets behind you.
Yeah.
It gets behind you. And you can have 3 weeks off and it feels like you took your lifetime off from some stuff.
Yeah.
Because the cardiovascular needs are so high for some stuff. They're so demanding.
Right.
Or, like if you kickbox or box,
and your cardio,
you just get out of that rhythm of sparring or working on pads with people.
Right.
It takes you a little while to get that back. So you want to stay with it and be able to not be interrupted by silly injuries.
And you touched on cardio. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Cardio, it's harder to regain the cardio in comparison to the muscle. Like if you take time off, the
muscular memory stays with you
but
a
the
lot.
cardio, you got to work harder.
Cardiovascular ability is it's a volatile attribute. Mm-hmm. It goes up, it goes down, it goes up, it goes down. It doesn't really stay unless you maintain.
Yeah.
If you're maintaining, it'll stay. If you don't maintain, it goes down.
And just by default, you can't maintain it because you have to push yourself at a certain level to maintain it.
Continue going upward.
Right. Whereas in muscle, it doesn't need that big.
Once you get to a certain amount for muscle growth, it's just maintenance on it.
Right. Because
continue that level of strength to a degree. If you want to keep staying at the peak of the muscular strength, you have to continue to push. But if you want what's a very natural high ability of strength, you're just in maintenance mode. A lot of when I do kettlebell work, a 20-pound kettlebell is all I need, and I stay very strong compared to a lot of people with that because I'm making everything that I touch, that I use, feel like a paperweight. I want my body to feel like it's the weight of a piece of paper. Anytime you're doing that, you can get a lot without even lifting a weight.
Right.
And you have natural strength that's staying with you a long time. Strength doesn't depreciate as fast as cardiovascular conditioning as well.
Yeah, and the reason behind that is because in our everyday living, we're using our muscles. Mm-hmm. But our cardio, walking to our car, that's not going to strengthen our cardio at all.
You're not pushing it.
Right.
You're not pushing
so
the
even
system.
The subtle, we lift up heavier things than a half bottle of mango juice.
You walk.
And you walk.
You go upstairs, you go downstairs, you carry a book bag, you pick stuff up, you put it down. You're getting something out of a day, but it's to the amount of what you're getting sometimes.
So we didn't plan this, but it fits into my training. That's not happening so much so right now. Yeah. Because I was talking about bowling the other day, and you were talking about CBDs, and I was bigging up the product and whatever the case is, but there are certain things like muscle strains and muscle things that you don't just jump into a painkiller of any sort and just start training. No. You got to rest it.
You can't put a Band-Aid fix on the body and expect it to do what the body is supposed to do. That's not the natural scope of things. The body has to be able to adapt and rebuild and come back.
So I'm big on self-diagnosis. So there's something in my shoulder, muscular, where I should just relax it. So that's what I've been doing. And the only time I really use it is on my weekend job, which I did today. And last weekend, it was feeling horrible, and I still went to jiu-jitsu the next day and just made it worse. Yeah. So I took jiu-jitsu off for that week, and then now this weekend, It doesn't feel as horrible as it felt last week, but I wanna go pain-free at work because I only do it during the weekends.
Yeah.
Pain-free at work 2 weekends in a row.
Yeah.
Before I start using it again,
Yeah.
because I don't want to re-injure.
Yeah.
I knew it was a word.
You're finding that's more of a soft tissue deal, like a muscular or tendons, ligaments, stuff like that, connective tissue or muscular.
Yes.
Believe it or not, because with my shoulder issues in life, acupuncture.
Yeah.
If you get a Chinese style acupuncture, I believe it's Chinese style of acupuncture, they put a cotton ball on top of the needles and set that on fire. It shoots heat downward into the soft tissues of the body,
right,
and it helps stimulate the recovery process a little bit. Actually, really good. Anytime you have muscular issues, heat is good for those. You don't want to contract the muscle more. You want to elasticize the muscle.
Yeah, and I just rarely even feel comfortable with ice, to be honest. Whenever I get any form of injury,
you need to know when to use it.
You do need to definitely. Me personally, and I'm not saying this is the right thing, but me personally, I don't really do the ice thing.
If it's a bone problem, ice is the thing. If it is a swelling problem, ice is the thing. If it is feel like you got muscle tears, pulls, strains, if you contract that further, you're just making the problem worse.
Right.
So cold doesn't do that. You want
expansion
heat to expansion.
Expansion.
Yeah. Expansion of the tissues. Think of your muscles as an elastic band. If an elastic band is cold and you pull on it, it breaks.
Right.
If it's warm, it's got all kinds of pull to it without breaking.
So what I've been doing in regards to my body, and I'm so disappointed that it took me so long to start because I've been thinking about it for years. Yoga. Amazing. I can't wait for the next session. Yeah. It's so important just to take care of your body. Like I alluded to previously into the benefits of training in terms of even like specifically mixed martial arts, understanding and having appreciation while you're watching high level competition more so than you did when you were just a fan. But just taking care of your body, man. Like it's just
any form of training.
Yeah.
If you do not put the same amount of time into rest, recovery, and preventative maintenance, you're doing yourself a disservice.
Big time.
It makes a huge difference. That's why they say recovery is so important. The highest level athletes in the world, they go out of their way to deal with everything they can to recover properly. 2 types of people
take care of their body, in my eyesight, tremendously. I've had the luxury, I guess, to be around very few times high-level professional athletes. And I mean, not just going to the game and watching them play basketball, but actually seeing them in an everyday type setting and how much they take care of their body.
Their body,
that's their motivator.
Yeah, it has to work. Think of it, if you had a car and you put shitty fuel in it and shitty oil, you can't expect it to run to work as good and as long. You have to do the same with your body. You got to feed it right. You got to rest properly. You got to be properly hydrated, and you got to test your body so it continually is not degrading.
The regular everyday Joe, some of them actually, would get offended if you suggest that they're not taking care of their body well. But I feel like those people haven't actually seen like a professional athlete take care of their body, because it's like
have
night
no
and
idea.
day.
They have no idea.
Night and day. I'm like, why are you doing that? Oh, because I'm like, oh.
I'll give you for instance. Here's a for instance. Most people, when they sleep in their room, they got a window that's open. They got blinds on the window, but they don't block out all the light.
Right.
If you want the best sleep ever, you got to block out all
Every
the
little
light.
bit counts.
Take your phone, put it in another room. Get rid of everything.
Yeah. I suggest that
Stuff
to
like
some people, and they're just like, it doesn't mean, like, the only, like, in terms of the one thing in comparison to that is Wi-Fi. Because where I live at, my landlord takes care of my Wi-Fi, but like, I would actually turn off my Wi-Fi when I'm going to sleep, because you don't want all this shit going on. You know what I mean? You want the best sleep possible.
The better the sleep, the better the body's ready to go, and the better the mind's ready to go.
Mm-hmm.
The proper fuel and hydration to it prolongs that. And again, like I said, if you're not doing something to keep up the maintenance of your body or the growth of your body, it starts to degrade over time.
You know who else takes care of their body real well? Let me see. Let me give you a guess. There's probably many types of people, but what I've seen is what I'm saying. I want to hear what your opinion is. Who else? Well, I told you professional athletes. What other type of people would you think?
People that are personal trainers,
people,
stuff like that.
Yeah.
People that look after their body.
I'm going to give you a specific type of people.
Okay.
The elderly that go to the gym.
Well, when they go to the gym, those ones.
Those ones, because you got young people that go to the gym, and they'll just jump on something and start throwing shit up and whatever the case is.
There's a lot of good Facebook videos of that.
Right. But the old people take their time and do the proper movement.
You're going to like something of this. Some of the best personal trainers you can ever talk to have crested the age of 50, 60, 70. They know what it's like to be at that age and to know how to train that age.
Right.
So you take that back to a younger age, you prolong the body longer.
Those are the people I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And you know what? I'm just thinking about it now. It's the same thing as a coach now. You know, when we were younger, like 10, 11, 12, and we were being coached by people in their 20s, their 30s, their 40s, they have a different understanding of the body than we do. So when they're telling us to do something, it doesn't make sense to us at the time because we don't feel what they feel.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's the same.
It's different. And performance athletes, performance type coaches are looking to get the most high mileage, the most high octane out of the body as they can get. Sometimes the long-term effects of that they don't always think of. The ones that are older that now feel it are the ones that keep that in the mind the most.
Yeah. So yeah, I was downward doggying this week.
Downward dog, huh?
And it's crazy because like I felt uncomfortable. Not that I was in a yoga class, but the fact that in an athletic setting around, and I guess you can call yoga athletics in a sense, in an athletic setting in like a gym class or a classroom of people who are doing athletic stuff, I kind of pride myself in not being the worst person in that room, and I felt like I was the worst person in that room.
Gonna be. The first time you go to a yoga class, you're gonna be. I don't do it very often. I've gone 5 times ever.
Yeah.
I was out of place too. And you feel like you're way stronger than you
But
think
you're
you
not.
are, then you do that, and you realize it's not the case.
You got these old ladies that are holding positions, and you're like, oh my gosh, trembling. I'm like, damn, this old lady is stronger than me. I don't know what to do with my life anymore.
Yeah.
But it's
now
crazy.
try being someone that competes at the time, competing in jiu-jitsu and wrestling and kickboxing, and then go, oh shit, I can't keep up with that one that's 45, 50, 60, whatever. They're holding position longer than I am. The body adapts, the body builds. They've taught their body to be able to deal with that. As to where you haven't yet. You are at square one.
Yes.
In everything.
Everything.
You start with a white belt mindset in everything. You grow faster and you absorb more. If you come in going, hey, I'm the big shot, with the ego going, it's humbling.
Let's talk about the fights.
Okay.
I was humbled with yoga. Yes, sorry, I was looking at the notes.
Okay, hang on.
Yeah.
You want to talk about fights? Are we going to those first, or are we going to some of the news stuff last week and just getting over it quick?
Yeah, news. We have to start with TJ Dillashaw.
Yeah.
We have to start with TJ Dillashaw. How could I forget?
Yeah. That was a bad one. You know what? He put up a video on Instagram owning up to it. He took that one on the chin. He goes, you know what? The pressures of being the best got to me. I caved on that. I didn't fight this thing at all. I returned the belt back right away so the division could keep rolling. You know what? He fucked up. He fucked up bad, but he's taking it on the chin, and Good on him for that. Good on him for that. He's got 2 years to get his body back in prime form over that 2 years, and to find a way to try and show himself and his coaches, not the fans,
Right.
himself and him and his coaches, he's got to do right by and prove it to them what he can do. Because honestly, I think he probably could have got the belt without using that. But EPO is one of those funny things. If you trained at altitude, you would get some of the effects of EPO.
Hold up. Save that thought.
Okay.
From the jump, in regards to this situation, from the jump, pun intended.
Yep.
We knew that he was guilty. The way he was reacting. Reacting to it. Like
most people, you knew there was something big there.
Most people get popped, and they're like,
and they fight
deny it and this and that.
Yeah.
We heard about this because he relinquished his belt. I'm like,
he came out and said what it was first. Not the substance itself, but he came out and said, I'm getting rid of the title right now. I know I've fucked up good.
Man, EPO.
You know, the funny thing is, another Team Alpha Male guy did something similar. Well, TJ being a former Team Alpha Male guy. Chad Mendez, when he tested positive,
you're right.
He had a cream for psoriasis or something, and it had anabolic properties in it, and that's what he tested positive for. He didn't fight that at all. He just goes, you know what, you got me. He actually had a claim where he should have fought that, where he should have gone, you know what, I wasn't taking this for anything. I was dealing with a skin issue, and that's it. I got no performance edge out of this. He could have actually fought that. I think he took 2 years off because of that. He came back and he fought once and he retired.
Listen, I don't know anything too much about performance enhancing drugs, but I do know EPO. They're making a big stink about it. It's very, very dangerous. Not dangerous, but it's.
No, they say it's dangerous.
It's dangerous. Yes, they say that. But not that is not the point I'm trying to drive. The point I'm trying to drive is that it is a ridiculous disadvantage you're giving your opponent if you take a substance like that.
Yeah.
So the seriousness.
There's a mental disadvantage you get from that, because you start thinking that you need that to be at the top of the division, at the top of your game. If you are always competing to the best of your own, on your own, without anything,
right,
you don't have that stress that ever creeps into your mind. Because the first thing that happens when you get off of something is you go, am I going to be the same? When it's time to pull the trigger, can I go?
Yeah, and I feel that every day. Like, I feel that every day in regards to caffeine. Like, caffeine is a thing that I guess most people are conscious about it, but I try to limit the caffeine that I take. And sometimes I'm in a situation where it's like, I don't need the caffeine right now, but if I don't buy the coffee in the next 20 minutes, the store is going to close, and
So
I won't have coffee for the next 5 hours.
Mm-hmm.
So I never put myself in a situation where it's like, maybe let me just test out the no caffeine thing and see how I feel like in 5 hours. If the option is there, I'll take it.
You go for it.
And I think that's the same thing with the performance enhancing drugs.
To say about performance enhancing drugs, it's been brought up all the time, over and over again. Stiffer penalties.
Yes.
You know what? You keep raising them, and they're not stopping it.
They're not going to stop taking EPO?
No, they're not going to stop.
Talk to me.
Performance enhancers in professional sports are always going to be there. You can try to limit it as much as you can. You can try to do a lot of things. They are looking now in the States, and I think in Canada as well, they are looking potentially to criminalize the use of those type of drugs.
Just in general, or in
you could
professional
go away to
sports?
prison over using those drugs. That might be something that deters some use. Here's another thing. People in MMA just suck at using performance enhancing drugs and masking it because they always get caught. TJ got caught by a piss test with EPO.
Yeah, I heard the window is pretty small, so they're able to get away with things like that a lot.
Well, there's some drugs that leave the body faster than others, but again, if you tried to, cyclists are the ones that use EPO the most, and endurance runners and stuff like that. When they test, if they test positive, they've gone through 100 steps more to make it impossible to know. Here's the crazy thing. You can take EPO, and then you can go train up on a mountain, and that will mask the use of EPO sometimes.
Okay.
That will mask the use of it, because what EPO does is it raises your red blood cell count. You're taking more oxygenated blood around the body. The body doesn't fatigue as fast, and that's why you get there. That is a substance performance athletes use that are specifically endurance athletes. Your runners, your triathletes, your cyclists, your fighters, your stuff like that.
It increases the amount of oxygen your muscles.
The longer you have more oxygen going to your muscle tissues, the longer they're able to work at a higher output.
I see.
Yeah.
That's a
huge
ridiculous
thing.
Advantage. That is.
You wanna.
I mean, like, we underestimate the importance of oxygen, but you know what I mean?
It's kind of important.
Yeah.
You need it to live.
Yeah.
You need it to live.
Yeah, and I mean, like, the benefits of your muscles just not
fatiguing as fast.
Exactly.
Let's say you get 2 more rounds out of your peak.
And the way that he moved, like, honestly, it's
he's
crazy.
a high movement guy. He throws a lot of.
Who was that first big name that he finished? Barao?
Yeah.
Like, you can't think of these things anymore and say that he was
amazing.
amazing.
Here's the thing. TJ had fought in Brazil and lost a controversial split decision to Rafael Assunção. And I remember seeing him come back after that fight and coming back on a different performance ability than he didn't have before that. And I don't know if he started taking then or if he started taking later. And I found out that for the Garbrandt fights, he didn't test positive during them. So I'm gonna hope.
Hold on. I don't have the information in front of me, but they rarely, if at all, test for EPO, is what I heard.
It's more expensive to test for EPO.
So why was he tested for EPO? Because it's not as frequent. EPO is not as frequent.
No, it isn't. No, it isn't. But it has been used in MMA. It is something that some athletes
the easier one to get away with.
It is an easier one to get away with, but it's not because it's easier to get away with. It's because of the benefits it can give you. And the benefits of EPO are different in everybody's body because everybody's body is going to adapt to that substance different. TJ Dillashaw may not get much out of that because his body is on that high output peak all the time. Mm-hmm. He might not got a lot of that because him being a smaller guy too, like you're just naturally able to go more. Mm-hmm. A bigger guy that's
in that sense.
Think of it if Cain Velasquez was on that in every one of his fights. He hasn't ever tested positive for anything. Let me just preface that specifically first. But if you look at Cain Velasquez's body of work, the one performance that he had where he didn't look like himself was when he fought Fabricio Verdum and lost the heavyweight world title fighting in Mexico City in altitude. He had the disadvantage of that less oxygen in the air because you're at higher altitude.
Right.
Now imagine if you have that drug and then you stop with that drug. Your body's not bringing as much oxygen throughout your body.
Right. Yeah, I get it.
And that's sort of the idea, right?
Yeah.
So that's why a drug like that, for most athletes, if they take that, they lose a mental edge because you can take a lot of things and you can get a lot of benefits and you can, whatever it is. That one, you feel it immediately, and you always, even if you don't feel it, you always have that wonder in your head. Can I go just as hard as I need to without this stuff as I do when I'm on this?
Yeah, definitely. we're gonna go all over the place today, but just because you touched up on cane at sea level cane versus altitude cane, I heard something at that press conference that they had. They were asking Doug Rose, are you gonna? I guess where she's fighting in Brazil, there's an altitude issue as well. Because the question was, are you gonna go there and acclimate or whatever that word is? Acclimate. There's a word similar to acclimate. That means okay. Anyways, acclimate. And her response was, did you watch or no?
I did not.
Yeah. Well, anyways, her response was, if you have to go, no, I'm going a week ahead. I'll be there for fight week. Because the interviewer was like, are you going to go 2 weeks, acclimate, 3 weeks? And she said, almost word for word, if you have to acclimate, there's another word similar to it. But anyways.
Or adapt.
No, there's another word that sounds like it. I don't know what the other word means. But anyways, if you have to acclimate, then you're not ready for this. Something like that, she said.
She says that. She also trains at altitude. She trains in Denver.
Okay, well
Denver, Colorado.
Well, then that was her just being...
Well, no, her point stands. Mm-hmm. If you train at the peak amount, you should be able to go up or down. Yeah. But there's a reason why they don't have heavyweights fight at 10,000 feet.
Yeah.
For example.
Yeah. Because even the fight didn't even look like you could just see Kane, and he's like, why is he moving so slow? And why is he moving?
He fatigued in less than 3 minutes, and everybody saw it on his face. They were like, oh no. Because he took a couple knees to the body, and we all saw him take that big breath from his mouth with the mouth guard in.
Yes.
Like that, and that's all it takes.
Listen,
you can't do that in front of that high level of a professional fighter and not let them see that. Fabricio knew he had it right then. He goes, I got this. Because Fabricio was training outside of Mexico City for a month and a half before that fight. He was ready to go. Yeah. He did everything. There's a reason for a long time. Fighters have traveled and stayed in the places they were fighting to acclimate. Conor McGregor fights in Las Vegas. Dublin, Ireland is not dry like Las Vegas, Nevada. Mm-hmm. Conor McGregor usually rents out a mansion with his whole training entourage and trains there for his fights, so the dryness of the air doesn't affect his body. That actually affects the body a lot.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Every little bit counts, you know what I mean? And everything affects everything, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. Shoot, I forgot what I was going to say now. But anyways, I'll just look at this. I forgot, we were talking about the TJ. And and then he brought up Chad Mendes. And he basically came out in interviews and said, he's not going to fight it. He could have fought it, but he had other shit to do. Yeah. So it didn't even really matter that he was suspended. So that's why I'm just wondering,
TJ,
sometimes it's good to be told that you have to take a break. Mm-hmm. It's to your benefit sometimes. So it's is this disciplinary or is this beneficial?
In TJ's case, he had he's going in for his second shoulder surgery coming up.
Yeah, exactly.
And he said he was dealing with 2 torn labrums.
Right.
Can you imagine punching with your shoulders, the muscle in your shoulders ripped apart like that? That's a big deal.
What's the first thing UFC related that you think about when you hear torn labrum?
Puncher.
Yeah.
It affects a puncher a lot.
I think of Tyron Woodley because
he's a puncher.
He complained about that and he had to go get his surgery and they're like, you got to fight anyways. And he's like,
he had a busted up thumb too. And said I was.
So every time I hear labrum, I think about that situation.
But when I hear stuff like that, I try to compare it sometimes, but I don't compare it to a fighter. I compare it to what that takes away from the fighter. Because if you can punch better, this is jumping around again. Lomachenko
intended?
Yeah. Lomachenko fought Friday. He had some issues and injuries and stuff that finally he took the time off needed to recover properly.
Who? Machenko?
Lomachenko.
Who's that? Boxer?
Boxer, yes.
Yeah.
He is the junior lightweight champ now, I believe.
Yeah. Did he fight this weekend?
Fought on Friday.
Right.
Fought on Friday.
Knocked somebody out there?
Yes. Yeah. Face down, 4th round KO.
Fourth round
KO. He just about finished the fight
What's
at
his
the end
weight?
of
What's his weight?
That would be high 130s.
130s. Yeah.
I believe for that.
But yeah,
He's in my weight class. You better watch out. You better watch out. I'm coming for him.
you want to know something?
Yeah.
His dad took him out of boxing as a child
Mm-hmm.
and put him into dance classes so he learned how to move better. He
I
has
believe
such
that.
he has such an ability to be in front of a fighter, beside a fighter, in front of a fighter, beside the fighter, and moving angles and then throwing punches. Guys struggle so bad to land shots on him and to set up punches on him because he's here all the time, as to where more traditional fighters are in front of you, a little bit to the side, in front of you, a little bit to the side, not all the way B-side.
Right.
And he catches guys on shots having a perfect lane to put a punch down. And there's a reason why his second professional boxing fight he ever had was for a world title. It was for a second. He didn't win that fight against Gary Russell Jr., but his second. And then
that's
I
big
think,
enough.
Yeah, and then
To get the fight.
Yeah, and he's two-time Olympic champion in boxing.
I guess he might have my number if we end up in the ring together. Yes.
If you want to try it, you're welcome to
More
do
than
so.
welcome,
If you want, he actually, when I tied this in, he's a former training partner of TJ Dillashaw's.
Full circle.
Yeah.
I'm like, why are you talking about this motherfucker?
Yeah, I brought that up
Alright.
to sprinkle that in for now. That this is, remember where I said TJ, a lot of it is a puncher. Those are punching injuries.
Yes.
The best boxer on the planet, potentially, if you
Active
disregard
fighters,
if you disregard Mayweather because he's not an active fighter anymore.
and he's
Hard to argue. He's a small fighter, but he is the best.
Yeah, I heard his name. I should look out for him because I am trying to get more educated in the combat sports. As I keep saying, I'm primarily a UFC guy.
Yeah.
And I'm branching out. Machenko's one guy. Another guy.
Lomachenko.
Yeah, you'll spell it for me later
Yeah.
on in life. Another guy that went the opposite way. He was mixed martial artist, or UFC guy, I should say.
Yeah.
UFC guy, and then he branched out to different sports as well. Actually, the same way, I guess you could say. Edmonton boxer. Ryan Ford.
Yeah. But I think he was boxing before he did MMA. I don't think he was competing in it, maybe not.
Yeah.
Or maybe he did a couple amateurs, but he went into MMA. He never fought in the UFC.
No?
No.
Oh, shit, I'm bullshitting then.
Yeah, no, he never did. He did fight for Bellator for a little bit.
Bellator, that's what I meant to say.
He fought for Bellator for a little bit, but he couldn't fight in the States. So he fights international outside of North America. He fights in Canada, but that's,
And he fought last weekend.
Yeah.
What happened with that? Tell me.
That was a
Do you remember?
light heavyweight title fight. He is now ranked 29th in the world.
Did he knock anybody out?
That was by knockout.
He knocked somebody out?
Yeah.
Yeah? Nice.
I believe so, yeah.
Nice.
Ryan Ford, his nickname is what it is, the real deal.
The real deal.
Yeah.
That's what it is, eh?
That dude's a motherfucker.
We'll try and get him in one day.
When he fought in Alberta the most time when he was in mixed martial arts, he was the MFC welterweight champion. Maximum Fighting Championship. They're not around anymore.
Mixed martial arts?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
They're not around anymore, but that was his belt in his division. He ran the division. And there's a lot of people in Bellator, when he went to Bellator, either just before or while he was there, that if they fought him and beat him or fought him and lost to him, they made their name off of him.
Oh, he's that guy.
He's the guy.
Okay.
He's top. He in his peak, It's a shame he couldn't fight in the U.S. because he would have gotten bigger. Dude's kind of like Kid Rock to Edmonton.
He's big.
Yeah. The way Kid Rock is to
Mhm.
Detroit,
Mm-hmm.
he's kind of like
Yeah,
that to
we're
Edmonton.
gonna talk to him. That's one of our. We're gonna talk to him on this podcast.
Yeah.
We're gonna get him. We're gonna talk to him. We have to start to get the community
working
involved.
that.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. We'll work
That's
on
what
that.
people have been talking about. So it's not our podcast. It's our podcast. So,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? If that's what's called
Yeah.
for, then that's what's called for.
Yep.
I'm gonna bring up another fighter that I'm bringing up these fighters that I'm interested in for one reason or another
Yeah.
to get more acquainted with
Mhm.
their work. And I had his name here. He fought on the weekend, and his name Roundtree.
Yeah.
I was I was a little caught up with the commentary of Joe Rogan because nothing specific to Joe Rogan, but sometimes I kind of am skeptical when somebody's hyping somebody up too much.
Yes.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So the big thing with Joe Rogan's commentary last night on Roundtree was, oh my gosh, look how much he's improved since last time. He went to Thailand. He went to Thailand and learned how to Thai box or some shit he was saying. He went to some other different country. And since he's come back, he's been an exceptionally different fighter. And I've never seen him fight before. Oh, hold on. I've never seen him fight before. So I'm just saying, I wonder if Joe Rogan's just blowing smoke up this guy's ass, or if he really has improved. And then I was speaking to another buddy of mine, and he was on The Ultimate Fighter.
Mm.
Did you know that?
Who was that?
Roundtree.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't really watch The Ultimate Fighter.
Honestly, after season 4 or 5, that's kind of when I checked out on that. Because the level of talent started going down a little bit. Not that The Ultimate Fighter wasn't a good thing. It was great for the business. It was what made the UFC popular in the beginning, or in the expansion.
The expansion. Okay.
The expansion, because the beginning happened and then it went dark for a while.
Yes.
And then when it was coming back, and it got back onto pay-per-view and slowly built from that, and then it was progressing, and then finally got to Spike. They had to pay for all their production on Spike. Spike didn't pay for anything. Spike didn't pay for anything for the first season of production of The Ultimate Fighter. That was all Zuffa LLC.
Right.
When they went $40 million in the hole,
yeah,
that was all
they
on
still
them.
do their own production now, but they're on
No.
ESPN does that?
ESPN,
How about
Fox did it all for
Fox
them.
did it all?
After season 1,
Yeah.
Spike picked it up for them. They covered all that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they signed their deal for the second Ultimate Fighter on a napkin out behind the Hard Rock in Las Vegas.
Yeah.
They were like, when Forrest Griffin and Stephen Bonner fought the first time in the finale of that,
It's a big fight.
they got to a point where they had over 10 million people watching that fight, that 3-round light heavyweight fight.
Yeah.
And that's the execs at Spike TV go, we need this back. There's no way we can't have this. If it comes back for a second season, it has to be us. And they, for a while, sort of helped the UFC grow. They were really big in the growth of it.
Mm-hmm.
And here's another tie-in thing, because of a fighter brought up this weekend. The main event of that was Ken Shamrock and Rich Franklin.
That was the main event?
No.
Okay,
No.
go ahead.
Ken Shamrock and Rich Franklin were the main event of that. Rich Franklin just got added to the UFC Hall of Fame over the weekend. He just got announced he's going in.
Yes.
In the legacy category of the UFC. He was instrumental in the growth of it during the expansion years. He main evented that show. A lot of people forget that.
Yeah. I remember now.
He fought Ken Shamrock.
Yeah, he beat him, no?
He beat him.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Rich Franklin.
TKO'd him.
He was a teacher, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was a grade 10 math teacher.
Yeah, I think I heard Dana saying something about he
He
was
used to
teaching,
train.
And training.
When he started with MMA, he used to train in a shed with one of his friends at the time, Josh Rafferty, who competed on the first season of The Ultimate Fighter. They trained together and got into it. Rich was competing at light heavyweight and I think a little bit at middleweight. And then when he got to the UFC, he went light heavyweight for a few fights and then dropped to middleweight and then won the world title at middleweight.
You know what I think?
Mm-hmm.
I think, sorry to take this a little bit off topic, but you should avenge somebody's loss to Rich Franklin. Because I think there was a Nova Scotia fighter who
Jason
fought
McDonald.
Yes. And Rich Franklin
swiped
the floor with him.
Here's one.
You see, if Rich Franklin came to Toronto and messed with one of my Torontonians, I would have to avenge my Torontonian.
I'm going to tell you something.
Yes.
This is going to blow your mind right now.
Go ahead.
I've actually sparred with Rich Franklin. It didn't go my way.
So you tried at least.
I tried.
Tried to avenge
The first
it.
time I ever sparred in my life actually was with Rich
Don't
Franklin.
lie.
Right after he won the world middleweight title.
Where was this?
That was back in Nova Scotia.
Oh man, what's his affiliation with Nova Scotia? He likes beating you guys up. You couldn't come to Toronto with that bullshit.
He did that to one of us.
Yeah.
No, we had an affiliate gym to the gym that I was. George Gagel, who at one point held the record for the most fighters active in the UFC at the same time under his gym
Right.
and affiliates. George was the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu coach that took Rich Franklin to the world middleweight title. He also was the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu coach of my original Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu coach, Scott McLean, in Cole Harbour, Nova Scotia. Scott brought up TJ Grant, and by association, TJ was under the Gagel system.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got to spar Rich Franklin, eh?
Yeah.
Nice.
First time I ever sparred.
What was it, like kickboxing, boxing?
Kickboxing.
Kickboxing.
Yeah. We did 2 rounds. I was 16 at the time, and he carried me for 2 rounds.
Well, as he should.
He obviously would have whooped that ass if he had tried, but you know, it was a thing at the time. Hey, I want to give some of the guys a little bit of a feel. Move around with a few of them. Let's plant some inspiration in them.
Yeah.
Let's do something.
Yeah.
George would come up to Nova Scotia once in a while.
And I think just off of my limited experience in sparring, sometimes with me, I'm just like, okay, let me work on something specific. And my opponent in the sparring session might not know specifically what I'm working on, but that's all I'm focused on.
Yeah.
And maybe he's getting something off of carrying you as well. You know what I mean? Maybe he's working on a specific footwork pattern.
That's usually what you do. When you spar with someone really green, you get an idea for how they move, and then you try things with them. Like, hey, I don't use a jab a lot. Maybe I'm going to focus on a jab this time. Or, hey, maybe I should look to set up angles to land a right cross or a left cross. Okay, well, that doesn't work, or that does work. Okay, well, they're moving a lot laterally, so maybe I'm going to work on trapping. Like if we're in a ring specifically, trap to the corner, so you're not moving in a straight line, you're not moving straight sideways, you're angling.
Yeah.
There's always something to it. There's levels to this.
Definitely. I was going to say that, but I didn't. Okay, we want to get out here on a good time. So are you ready to touch on last week's fights? Are you ready?
Yes.
Not last week.
Last weekend.
Yesterday. Last weekend.
Yeah. Saturday
The
night.
fights were amazing. Israel Adesanya. I was afraid for it because I wanted him to win. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
As a fellow West African.
Yes.
You know what I mean? I joke about that with my friends. My parents aren't African. I'm not African. My grandparents, for all I know, were African. But I do believe that a lot of the Jamaican population came from the West Africa.
Yes.
That's another story for another day. But yes, he was amazing. He started off slow, I guess you could say.
He's a guy that He takes a little while to understand how you move, how you fight. He's very like Anderson Silva in that way.
Yeah.
Anderson Silva would take a little time to figure you out, and then he would start to implement his game plan. And I had said it during the fight, during the midway part of the first round, with a friend of mine that was watching the fights with me that night.
Mm-hmm.
He was betting on DraftKings, and he was getting my view on how the fights might go so he could bet.
Right.
I had said Israel might not be the safe bet in that fight, but he's a live dog in that fight because where he's grown so much in between fights over his tenure in the UFC already, if he can find a way to keep the shots of Kelvin Gastelum trying to get him to stop taking him down as much and force it into a kickboxing fight, he's got it. If he gets taken down, if he can spring back up and put some doubt in Kelvin Gastelum's mind, he can get this. He's got things he needs to do to establish his way to win, as to where Kelvin, he's the smaller guy naturally, he's the faster guy probably as well. He's the wrestler, and the wrestler usually dictates where the fight goes.
Although he never wrestled much.
He got one takedown early on in the fight, and Israel pushed him off and used the fence to get back up. And he got up immediately. Put that doubt in the wrestler's mind.
Israel's takedown defense deserves an applaud.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah, because
he's gotten very good. If you took Israel Adesanya in his second UFC fight and put him against the Izzy right now, there was a way to beat the guy in his second UFC fight. You could take him down. That was the way to beat him. It's not so easy now.
No, I was so impressed with the defense because that was the biggest scare for me. That Gastelum is just going to take him down.
Gastelum generally takes everybody down that he fights. If he tries, he gets it. He might not get every takedown that he goes for, but he gets everyone down in every fight that he's tried. And he did get Israel down originally, but Israel's ass touched the mat, his shoulders touched the mat, and he got up within 10 seconds of hitting the floor of the cage.
Can't remember.
Got up right away, and I think there was two level changes specifically that didn't even lead to shots out of Kelvin, and the only other time they hit the mat is when Israel went for submissions.
Israel went for submission. I know he went for the triangle and the armbar, but I don't think
high elbow guillotine.
It wasn't because he was going for the submission. It was because he was being taken down.
Yeah, but that's why I'm saying he specifically hit the mat.
Is to go for that.
Is to go for that stuff. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Because he goes, well, if
I don't know, I saw it as he was going down anyways. And he tried something.
Here's something, and
but I could be wrong.
This is a different way to look at it.
Yeah.
If there's no threat on the ground, the guy's going to continue to try to take you down. If you go to the ground and you threaten something right away, because oh shit, I have something maybe worse to go for here. Yeah, and Israel goes, if I threaten with something right away, it's more doubt gets into a guy's mind. More doubt goes into a guy's mind because that triangle was close at first. Like when
no, it was yeah.
When Kelvin shifted the position of his body and Israel was more off to the side rather than straight in line with him, he started losing that, and you could see Kelvin's head starting to pop out a little bit. It led to Kelvin getting out, but the threat of going to the ground, and it could be that fast.
And it was fast. It was almost right away.
And that high elbow guillotine standing, that was another one.
And you know what's funny? I think he might have been alluding something in the interviews prior to the fight. Because he was like, Izzy was actually saying, like, if there's one thing that I have unknowns, I don't know if you've seen that video, that interview, it's jiu-jitsu. Yeah, and look, he almost got him with jiu-jitsu. Yeah. So he's almost like, he's probably thinking, my jiu-jitsu game is so strong right now. Let's bait him into trying in jiu-jitsu. That's mental warfare.
Every tactical advantage is an advantage. If someone doesn't know you have a strength that you have, that's a good advantage to use at that time.
Yeah.
That was George St. Pierre was the king of that. He was the guy that would make you worry about one thing so much that he could do something different. You never knew what was coming.
And what would you say about John Jones in regards to like saying, "Oh, I'm facing a wrestler. Let me learn how to wrestle his ass. I'm facing a striker. Let me outstrike him.
John Jones is preposterous.
I'm facing a Muay Thai specialist. Let me Muay Thai him to death."
John Jones is just that one weird. He's got the most pride of any fighter there probably is in that one way that he goes, I need to be the alpha of every single thing.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't matter. Daniel Cormier can be an Olympic wrestler. I need to pick him up and put him down.
Yeah.
I need to do that. Glover Teixeira is a great clinch fighter and boxer. I need to do something to him that makes him rethink his whole everything.
And it's crazy how he does that.
And
it's crazy.
Yeah, and the best fight that anybody ever gave John Jones, actually the two best fights,
Gustafsson,
because Gustafsson did the only thing
don't
that
tell me
nobody.
The second one. Don't tell me the second one.
Okay, but hang on.
Yeah.
Gustafsson did the only thing that John Jones never saw coming, because Gustafsson always boxed for the longest time, and everybody was ready for a boxer.
Mm-hmm.
He threw some takedowns in there,
Mm-hmm.
and he got them. He got takedowns that DC couldn't get.
Yeah,
because there was a shock.
Mm-hmm.
There was shock to it because he wasn't expecting that, and that's the tactical advantage is always find the thing that is least prepared for, that is least expected.
Who else was the second one?
Vitor Belfort.
I was gonna say Vitor Belfort, but
Vitor
is
Belfort.
that the one that he broke his
Broke his elbow?
His thumb toe. Thumb toe?
No, his big toe, but no, that wasn't that one.
Which one did he break his?
That was Chael.
Yeah. I'm
That was Chael.
gonna continue to call
He had a compound.
I'm gonna continue to call it thumb toe. I like
But this is a thumb.
Yeah, but it's your thumb toe.
Okay.
I don't know. Okay.
I can work with that.
Big toe. Yeah, that was Chael. Okay.
But
so
yeah,
Vitor,
Chael, he had a compound fracture in that.
Vitor, how did he finish?
Vitor went in an armbar against Jones, and then in the fourth round, Jones got an Americana shoulder lock on Vitor Belfort.
Oh yeah.
He was inside control. He wrapped that up and made the most of it.
Listen, Izzy, and what I noticed, like, and because I'm studying jiu-jitsu, I'm appreciating the ground game so much more than striking. I was predominantly a striker fan, but anyways, back to striking.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen so many levels to Izzy striking in comparison to Gastelum. Like
Gastelum's not a lifelong striker.
I know, but it's so sad. Like
There's
difference. I'm seeing it so much more clear now. Go ahead.
You
He has that overhand left every day. Every day he's doing the same thing.
Yeah, but here's the difference. When you have the time to properly implement enough things, you'll get them. Kelvin was very, very green striking when he got to the UFC.
What's his solid background?
Wrestling. Yeah, he was a wrestler, and he was very young when he got to the UFC, and he was the last pick, the very last pick on the season of The Ultimate Fighter that he was on. Chael and John Jones, I believe, and he's made a hell of a career out of it. He's not the most professional of professionals with regards to showing up and making weight.
Right.
That is a big thing. But when it comes to a fighter that's got that dog inside of him that doesn't give up, man, it's hard to argue that.
Mm-hmm.
He's really got that. He got dropped a lot of times.
Yeah.
And got up and fought. He showed that Mexican pride to be able to take a shot and continue on. That warrior spirit is there.
Should the fight have been stopped?
No, because he stayed with it every time. He didn't.
I think the fight should have been stopped in the last seconds of the actual 5th round, the actual fight.
Yeah.
For 2 reasons.
Okay.
1, it was a justifiable stop.
Yeah, it could have been.
And 2, which is not as important,
Mhm.
get Izzy the finish.
Yeah, but they're not allowed to
I
do
know.
that.
Yeah.
That's something that could get you in hot water.
Yeah.
What I would have said with that is there's been how many times he just got knocked down. It's going to happen again. He's tired. He's way more visibly tired.
Mm-hmm.
It's not going to get better. It's not going to get better at that point. I mean, he could land that one Hail Mary shot that changes things, but the likeliness of that happening was exponentially dropping.
I think Joe Rogan was calling for the fight to be stopped in between rounds on the commentary.
Yeah, I think so. There's something to coaches. There's something to a coach's responsibility as your corner person. You have to be able to say, okay, I'm visually assessing what I'm seeing. My fighter is not getting any better in this fight. Am I going to let them take prolonged damage, or do I say, hey, let's come back another day?
Yeah.
Some guys do it too long. The best example of someone that called it a day was BJ Penn's coaching staff. When BJ Penn fought St. Pierre the second time, they stopped him in the 4th round. They said, okay, enough's enough. When he went back to the corner, enough's enough, because it wasn't getting better. And there's some coaches that'll do that and some corner staff that'll do that. It's really hard to, in MMA specifically, you see it more in boxing and kickboxing that coaches are more willing to do that. But in mixed martial arts for a long time, it's been the tough man sport. It's been the show up and go out on your shield sport. You don't have a long career when you do that enough times. Raquel Pennington, she got stopped against Amanda Nunes. They called that in between the 4th and 5th round of that fight. They said, hey, it's not getting any better.
That's not the one I'm thinking about. You know, there was one women's fight where, not that anything's wrong, but I associate her with also being a lesbian. She fought Amanda Nunes.
Yeah, Raquel Pennington.
Is that the one you're talking about? Is she the one that said was asking her corner, I don't want any more of this? Is that
she was the one. She said, okay, I'm done.
They didn't stop it.
Yeah, they did.
No, then that's not the one I'm thinking about.
They stopped it between.
Then that's not the one I'm thinking about.
I'm pretty sure they did.
The one that I'm thinking about, this fighter specifically, and I believe she was fighting Amanda Nunes. Maybe we're thinking about the same thing.
No, you're thinking about the same girl. I'm pretty sure they had stopped it between.
I don't think so.
But if they didn't, okay, then no, they didn't.
Don't worry, we got our producer right now.
But that's easy enough.
Yeah.
Because if your fighter is saying, hey, I can't go anymore, there's a balance between a corner person going, hey, you haven't shown your all yet, continue trying. There's a give and take to that. Because when you know they're at their limit, you have to pull that back. Sometimes the fighter in their mind is to never, never, never give up.
Yeah, it is Pennington. I see her face. I'm going to see what happened in that fight.
And her and Amanda Nunes actually both used to train at American Top Team.
Yes.
Coconut Creek, Florida. They used to fight out of the same gym. Both their girlfriends, or wives, wife, one of the two.
Yeah.
Were there. Tisha Torres and Nina Ansarov fighting there. Nina Ansarov is fighting soon again, too.
Who's she fighting?
Tatiana Suarez.
Tatiana Suarez is the next best thing for that women's division, no?
For 115.
TKO, elbows, punches. In the 5th round, she lost to Amanda.
Oh, yeah, so they didn't stop her.
That was a big
They didn't stop her. They should have stopped her, because she took a lot of damage.
And she asked to get out.
Yeah. The big thing with a fighter is they live and die in their own heads. They really do. If you let your fighter take so much of a beating that they can't come back from that mentally, you've effectively killed their career.
Yeah. You have to.
This is why the relationship between a coach and an athlete is so important. You have to know that person so well.
Mm-hmm.
Know when you can get more out of them, and know when you can't, and know when it's okay to push for more, or to call them out on their bullshit.
You gotta know when to hold them, and you gotta know when
Yeah.
to fold them.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's
Yeah,
so
that's
true.
just actually it. It's a hard enough sport as it goes already. You don't need to take the beating that Junior Dos Santos took to Cain Velasquez twice to find out why. It was years before he started coming back. Anthony Pettis, when he fought Rafael Dos Anjos,
Mm-hmm.
it was years before he started looking like himself again. Took too much. Yes, he wanted to stay in there. Both of them did. Both of them didn't want to give up.
Right.
Because they wanted to stay. That's a good time for a coach to go, hey, you got to show me something this round. Show me something that makes me have to keep you in there. Give me some hope on your side. I don't need you even to win. Like, we want to win.
Yeah.
We want to win, but even if you can't win, if you want to be out there longer and you're taking immense damage right now, if you can't right this ship enough to not take that level high of damage, we got to get you out of here, because we need to fight again, or you need to fight again, or maybe you don't want to, and then this is your last. But in the moment, you always have to think there's going to be a tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't, you're going to kill that career so fast.
And if
you're going to take years off.
You speak about career, but if tomorrow is just maintaining a certain level of life, that is important as well.
You can die
Exactly.
from traumatic damage to the head. That happens. That happens yearly in fight sports. Much more in boxing and kickboxing than it does in MMA at this point. But you're taking a lot of concussive blows to the head. You can't fuck with that. Can't fuck with that.
Speaking about a lot of blows to the head, I was concerned in that first round for Max Holloway.
Yep.
I was really concerned for him.
If they fought at 145 pounds, Max Holloway wins that fight all day.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, I thought you were going to say he got knocked out because of those blows and the dehydration and all
I
that stuff.
I don't think he did. No, but at 155, Dustin Poirier fills out to his peak performance. He's a different fighter at 155. He's a fighter that could go toe to toe with Eddie Alvarez at 155.
Yeah, and that's what. 1 second, I was thinking about that. I was looking at Dustin Poirier,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm looking at him fight Max Holloway, and obviously the size difference was evident. But what I was thinking was, like, I know MMA math is not MMA, but to me, I don't think Max Holloway stands a chance against Eddie Alvarez. And that's just my opinion, and I could be totally wrong.
Max Holloway,
but just because of how gritty
stylistically,
Eddie,
stylistically he struggles. But Eddie Alvarez at the peak of his career was the finishing guy all the time. There's a diminishing return that comes with that. You don't have the stamina to go a hard 5. Max Holloway fights more like the Diaz brothers do.
100%.
He takes you late and turns it up, and he almost got Poirier out of there a couple times because of that. There's always a give and take to any style you have. There's always a give and take to what you implement as your style to fight, as your effective use of weaponry. Everybody has an advantage and a disadvantage. Max Holloway's disadvantage in this fight was he was smaller.
Mm-hmm.
In this case, that paid dividends. It doesn't always.
Yeah.
In this case, he had never fought at 155 before at the elite level.
Right.
And having that extra weight on his body may actually have slowed him down just a touch.
Yeah.
He didn't have the weight cut working against him to fatigue him the same way, and he could turn it up in the later rounds.
As he did.
But he was taking harder shots from a natural 155er that could throw harder and had more body behind him. And those shots were big shots. They didn't put him down. They didn't put him out. But he's never taken shots like that at 145. Nobody at 145 has hit him that hard.
And he stood up to that.
Conor McGregor blasted him as hard as he could in Conor's second fight with the UFC before he tore his ACL and they started scrapping on the ground.
To that? Remind me.
They won all 3 rounds.
Yeah. So he didn't show that Conor's power was.
Conor's power didn't do it to him.
Okay.
No.
Yeah, he can definitely take a
And
shot.
Conor put out Dustin Poirier in 47 seconds.
Yeah, he can definitely. It's evident.
Yeah. He can crack.
Wasn't too impressed. Was impressed with Max. Was impressed with Dustin. Was impressed with the ref. I was impressed with the commentary. Wasn't too impressed with the judging.
The judging was off. Khabib had the fight scored as a draw.
Yeah.
I had the fight scored with 1 round higher to Holloway.
Mm-hmm.
Some people had it scored with 1 round higher to Poirier. There was a big telling difference in the fight. Holloway landed the most strikes of the fight per rounds because the biggest gap in strikes landed was in the first round, and Poirier had that by, I think, 30 strikes more landed, significant strikes.
So
and then in the second, third, and fourth round, Max Holloway outlanded him.
So in a draw-like situation that Khabib was trying to present, does that mean that there would have had to been a 10-8 round somewhere in there?
I believe so, yeah.
That would have been the first round?
Probably.
Fair enough.
Probably. There's no argument. If that had happened, there's no argument with it because they went to war.
Okay, so I'm going to give you another thing.
Yeah.
As I said, in the same line of my wrongful reasoning for the Izzy Gastelum fight to be stopped, give Izzy the win.
Yeah.
That same thought, give them the draw. Or give, and I know it's totally wrong way of thinking, I'm just telling you how I'm thinking.
Yeah.
Give them the draw, or give Max the win, so that we can have this trilogy. People want this trilogy. You get what I'm saying? It's the wrong reason.
Yeah.
I know that.
Yeah,
but
because they fought once already and Dustin beat him.
Right. So if they give Max this one, which they could have, and again, my wrongful reasoning.
They should have.
My wrongful reasoning isn't that all that wrongful.
Yeah. Well, your reasoning
saying
behind it is because you want to see a third
fight.
fight.
But I'm not saying that give it to him regardless of if he did good or not.
Yeah.
He did. He deserved to win.
He should have won the fight. But it didn't happen. It should have gone that way.
Yeah.
That happens.
Yeah.
That's judging in professional sports, and Joe Rogan's a big proponent of you should have 5 judges instead of 3 because you can throw out the bogus score that's too high and the bogus score that's too low, and you get the most accuracy in judging. Because you take the averages being, we think this person won, we think this person lost.
Mm-hmm.
If you have a crazy score of 50-45, that didn't happen, but if it was 50-45 and they gave every round of that fight to Dustin Poirier, everybody knows that's not the case. He lost some rounds in that fight.
Yes, he did. Definitely.
He lost some rounds in that fight.
Definitely.
So you would say if you had 5 judges, okay, nerf that card. Okay, we got 50-45 for Max Holloway. Oh, there's no way he won that first round. Nerf that card. Now let's see what the other 3 are. And that's where you get your score from. If they did anything in officiating for mixed martial arts in North America specifically, man, that would be nice if they would do that. And I don't know if Joe Rogan was the one to bring that up first.
I heard him say it.
That was the one that sparked the idea. But man, when he said that was clear, crystal clear. That's a good way to get around it because you can't deal with lack of training to some people in judging positions. Some of them they've never done it before.
Mhm.
They've never done it. Unfortunately, you can see some people that judge professional mixed martial arts that go, "What are they doing on the ground?" If you don't know,
I know.
you shouldn't
You
be
shouldn't
there.
be in. You're in the wrong seat, sir. The 500, the upper level is over there.
Yeah, the nosebleeds.
The nosebleeds.
That's where you belong.
Exactly.
But their score
Yeah.
now affects someone who could be making millions of dollars or not.
Exactly. It's crazy.
That's
Fuck $1,000,000. Forget about millions of dollars. You're
Your
absolutely
record.
right. You're
Your
absolutely
record.
right. But not even millions of dollars. There are fighters in there that get 20,000 to show, and an extra 20,000 to win.
Yeah.
I think that means a lot to them, just like the millions
It means
means
a lot to everybody, but I'm using the top scale.
No, but I'm almost thinking that might even mean more, like the 20 and 20.
Well, here's the thing, and this is why I say the millions.
Yeah.
Because you could be at 20 and 20, and let's say you take that one pivotal loss.
Mhm.
Now that clouds your judgment. Oh, if I go to judges ever again, I'm gonna get fucked.
Yeah.
So you start fighting different, and then you never make it to the top level.
Listen, my thing, I think I probably said it on one of these episodes, is if you're going to use judges, which I'm not a big proponent of, I think you should just fight till somebody gives up, but that's another story for another day.
Yeah.
But like, if you're going to use judges, and no time limits too, that would help finishes in my opinion. But if you're going to use judges in the same aspect as you use a scoreboard in basketball or hockey or soccer or any other sport.
Mhm.
Listen, kid, you're down 2-1. Look, the scoreboard's right there. You're down 2-1. This is our strategy. Just like a basketball coach can be like, okay, we're down by 20 points here.
Yeah.
This is what we have to do.
In MMA, you have no idea till the very end.
And I don't. And
in boxing, they even show you periodically through a fight, they'll show you on the screen with the rounds, and they're saying it in the building what the scores are reading out as, so the judges can hear it and start to convey some of that even to their fighters. Hey, we got to pick it up. We're down 2 or 3 rounds.
The ref. Let's talk about the ref real quick. The reffing, I should say.
Yeah.
Talking about the judging. There's one thing that I vaguely remember just now.
Yeah.
Is there was a point deduction somewhere in the card in regards to somebody holding the fence. Do you remember that? Okay, you don't remember it, but I'll just talk about it because I don't remember which fight it was. I just remembered it now. There was a situation where somebody was trying to bring. I should do my homework before I start talking about stuff. But somebody was trying to bring somebody else down, and they grabbed
the fence. That's foul.
Fence, right? But the person that was going for the takedown got a favorable position anyways, and the ref just stops the fight, and he's like, "Get off, get off!" And I'm just like, "Oh my gosh, he was in a favorable position." He took the point away from the person who grabbed the fence.
Yeah.
But I always think, why? Like it's almost like
supposed to restart the fight from that
and
position.
he didn't do that.
You're
So he took
supposed
the
to do
point
that.
away and he restarted it just like the fight was just supposed to start. But my thing is, that's good. Take the point away. But I would say,
let's say if you stand somebody up, they get hit with that one shot that they never would have taken when they had the fight in their better spot on the ground.
Exactly what I'm saying. So what I'm trying to say is
that's happened. That's happened.
If you're gonna do that, I would suggest to all the refs listening, I would suggest that you separate them, stop them, take the point off if the person taking the takedown does not get into a favorable position.
Yeah.
If they get into a favorable position, let it go.
Yeah. You can take the point and put them back, but
Or even that.
But
okay, I was waiting for my homeboy Angelo to come in here, but I don't know if he's coming anymore. But basically, what I wanted to say in regards to Max and Dustin is, Angelo, I've spoken about him before in this podcast, and he might join us one day, maybe today. I don't know what his schedule is like. But he was the one that showed me about the tie clinch, right?
Yeah.
So he was just in here. We were shooting the shit a little bit, and he was saying to us the reason why he doesn't watch the UFC anymore. No respect. The fighters aren't the same as before.
It's different.
It's different now.
This is the entertainment era of the UFC, not the show up and show what you have. This is the be loud and braggy. get the hype train going now.
Which is 100% accurate. 100% accurate.
If you
But
want,
it's so funny.
Yeah.
So funny. Was it the main event?
Yeah,
it was
main
the main event. Max and Dustin.
they
So
are
respectful.
they are absolutely the polar opposite of that.
Yeah. And I mean, like,
It's not every fighter. It's becoming more popular for fighters to do that nowadays, but there is a lot of fighters that aren't that. And don't try to be that. And Max Holloway and Dustin Poirier.
I never seen so much respect in my life. Like at one point in between round 1 and 2, or round 2 and 3, or it happened 2 or 3 times in the fight. Between rounds, they just stood up and started looking at each other, and I'm like, is this Robbie Lawler, Rory McDonald moment? You remember that?
Yeah.
Are they gonna start not that Rory McDonald and you know what I'm saying?
Robbie.
Not that they did anything negative. I'm not saying that at all.
But you were talking about that alpha dog moment.
Yeah,
where they were just staring at each other.
Yeah, but it was
seeing
respect.
who was gonna back
It was
off
just
first.
respect.
Oh yeah.
And that I have to applaud that, man. I have to applaud that big time.
That is something that is not a lot of people get to experience that in their life.
Right.
Not a lot of people get to experience that. Dustin Poirier talked about it after the fight. He said, the craziest thing about going to war and knowing that you're hurt and knowing that I'm hurt and we're still there, and that the fear is excitement during the fight.
Mm-hmm.
There's very few people that get to experience that, at that level especially. But there's very few people that'll ever go and try and test themselves that way. It's something.
It's intense, I would imagine.
There is something to when your face is coated in blood. Not that it always has to be that way,
Mm-hmm.
but when you are coated in blood, you see your life seeping out of you,
Right.
and you're like, I can't give up. I need this. Kat Zingano said on the Joe Rogan podcast one time, she said she needs to know when the cage door closes, and this is hypothetically, if there was a steak laying on the ground or a leg of meat laying on the ground, who gets the bone? Who gets to eat today? Is it you or is it me? I need to know.
She compared it to that?
She compared it to that. She said, who's going to get the bone?
Yeah. That's intense, man.
That's caveman shit.
Yeah. You got it. You could only respect anybody who does that.
You can't not respect that.
You know what I
because
mean?
when you see it happen, you could be someone that totally is against fighting, doesn't like it, doesn't want to watch it, doesn't nothing. It's when you see something like that, you instantly in your mind you go, I can't go to that level, or maybe I can go to that level, but you don't know unless you actually do it.
And outside of that, like,
And it's terrifying to try and figure that out because you have to go through that war to figure it out.
Just going through, not even going through that, but like seeing people go through that, everybody should have at least a bit of respect for everybody that does it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like you get on these Facebook groups and this and that, and it's one thing to just state your opinion, of course, but like to knock one of these individuals, like, oh,
You
they're
can
crap,
tell
they're
very
this,
fast.
they're that.
You can tell very fast people that have ever tried it and
Mhm.
people that haven't. And you can also tell fighters that specifically call out fighters
Mm-hmm.
in the way they do it is different. Because Nate Diaz can call every fighter he's ever looked at a bitch.
Yeah.
Nate Diaz gets in there
Mm-hmm.
and nobody alphas Nate Diaz. They might beat him. There's a handful of people that have beat him. That have been the better fighter on the night. No one has taken it away from him that way. In his mind,
Yeah.
he goes, I can still get this.
Yeah.
I
of course.
can get this.
And he's in there anyways.
And he's
so
in
it doesn't
there
matter.
doing
You gotta respect him anyways, whether he
He's
wins
in
or
there
loses.
doing it. And someone that has never done it before, they almost always, every time you see them make a comment on Facebook or you hear them talking at a table away from you in the bar watching fights, they're like, oh, they're little, I could do this. Or
Yeah.
you know what?
Yeah.
I'd take $10 million to get punched in the face by Mike
Yeah.
Tyson.
Yeah.
You don't have
Yeah.
a clue in that instance. you've probably never gotten punched in your life, or maybe you have, and you've never been punched by someone that can really punch. That guy could separate your spine from the back of your brain.
He's fighting people that have conditioned their body to be able to take a punch.
Well, here, I'll give you an example.
Mm-hmm.
Remember that time I showed you what a liver shot feels like?
Yeah.
I showed you that hard.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, that's bad.
And I never really got one before.
Here's the difference. When I trained to condition my body, I was taking shins to the liver. I was taking kicks to the liver and body punches.
Even
being able to breathe through it.
Yeah. Even the trainers, the people who just train, need that level of respect.
You have a depth of understanding when you try something that you can't. You have unnoticed ignorance when you never tried something.
You get a different appreciation. For
and then you can have conscious incompetence, and then unconscious competence. At the very top level.
Yeah.
At the very top level, you're unable to have to, or you're unneeding to think of what you need to do in the moment. You just do it, as to where you have no idea to think the things that you need to do.
Wow, you made me think a lot just now with what you just said.
There's a lot to that. But here's the thing. When CM Punk fought in the UFC the very first time, very tactical fighters said, they always say, the guy's got in there, he has a chance. Might be 1 in a 1 billion chance, but there's a chance. What's the highest accuracy thing against a grappler that wants to shoot takedowns?
Highest accuracy? Let me answer this unknowingly.
This is a grappling thing specifically, though.
I would. Is it a knee? No.
No, because sometimes you can't. Sometimes you can't time that.
Mm-hmm.
Someone shoots into your body. They have their head on the outside. Catch the guillotine. Catch the choke on the way down. Yes, and he caught a high elbow guillotine way up there and almost tapped out Kelvin Gastelum with it.
Okay, listen, we're not going to get to everything today, but I have on my notes here, since we're speaking about Izzy, he has a Muay Thai background? Or
yes.
what?
Yes,
kickboxing?
Muay Thai kickboxer.
I don't know, like again, I'm not knocking him or anything like that, because I don't knock people who are better at what they do than I am.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't knock anybody any better or worse, actually.
Yeah.
But it seems to me as though, what are we calling this again?
Muay Thai.
The Muay Thai clinch was pretty weak.
He wasn't using it.
He tried it.
He got muscled into the cage. Here's the thing. With the Thai clinch, you need space.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to take away the weapons of the Muay Thai clinch, you take away the space.
So if somebody's trying to hold on.
Yeah.
If somebody's trying to Muay Thai clinch me, I take away the space. Is what I should do.
Here's the thing.
So get closer to him.
Here's the thing.
Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay.
But hang on a second.
I'm hanging on.
Okay, your hips are here, my hips are here.
Amen.
I have my hands reaching over to the back of your head and the base of your head here. What you want to do is walk towards my core.
Mm-hmm.
Because if I don't have the space to throw a knee, I can only lift my foot this high up off the ground. I'm already touching you.
Mm-hmm.
I can't create any force in that.
Mm-hmm.
I have to move you out of the way to get space to throw.
So close the gap.
Close the gap. And Kelvin did that very well.
So it was
he
good
pushed him right back into the fence. Yeah, it was very good.
Fair
defense.
enough. I needed to hear that.
Yeah.
I'm not going to talk about that. Did you notice? Oh, you're not on Twitter.
Connor, well, it gets to Instagram, but Connor throws out tweets every night that there's a fight going on.
Did you hear this rumor?
What?
Silent partner?
No. For who?
Zuffa? Not Zuffa. WME?
I had no idea.
No, it's just a rumor. But his tweets last night specifically, I don't know if you've seen the ones that he tweeted last night before the fights.
I saw one post the fight specifically to Dustin Poirier and to Max Holloway.
No, but anyways, I think before the fight card last night, he tweeted about 3 different tweets that was just promoting the fight card. So people are now saying, oh, he did get a piece of the share on the low. Because it was just...
There's going to be a rumor for everything.
Yeah.
Here's the difference. Conor McGregor is a fighter. If he wants ownership of the UFC, and Dana said this, and I don't agree with Dana with a lot of things nowadays, but if he wants to own part of
gotta put money.
He's got to buy into it.
But you don't have to buy in that sense. You could... There's so many ways around something. Okay, Dana, I'll take this fight. You know that my number is 10 million or whatever his number is. Just give me 7 million and whatever. There's ways to.
But here's the thing: when you do that, you're taking profit out of the margin that pays every other fighter on every other card. When you take that ownership spot, because you're getting paid off of every card, not just the ones that you compete on.
Exactly, and I think there's a valid argument that Conor deserves that. I'm not going to say what percentage.
That's a murky one to get into. I've always been big on the proponent. Mm-hmm. If you want to own it, you got to buy in. If you look at what he has done, he has got the voice to do that, with the reach to do that.
Right. And it would benefit.
It would benefit him.
And not just him. Who else
it could benefit some of the other fighters. Some of them.
It would benefit WME, is what I'm trying to say.
WME would benefit somewhat, but here's the thing. WME right now has a deal with ESPN that pays $500,000 buy rate with a guarantee on every pay-per-view right now. They have guaranteed money. Instead of the volatility that they used to have, now they actually have a consistent rate that they know they're going to get every time.
UFC 236, live from Atlanta, sees the young Mana take on Mr. Louisiana in what is sure to be one hell of a slobber-knocker. Good luck, fellas. Take it home for the fans. A proper knock. Watch live, in capital letters, and direct on ESPN Plus with a simple click of the link below. He's not a partner?
That sounds incriminating of being a partner. That does. I don't know if he is. Maybe that's even angling to try and get the spot. Or to get that part.
Yeah.
But...
And that's just one of the 3.
Yeah, that sounds the part. But just frame it with the... Conor also said he retired once and came back.
Yeah.
Conor said he retired now, and you better believe there's a good chance he comes back again.
Yeah. I mean, he could be an active fighter who owns a share.
Yeah, he could be. There becomes murky water with that, where now you're part of the promotion, fighting for the promotion. There can be a conflict of interest with that.
Yeah, definitely.
So that's, again, why I partly say, you know what, maybe not, but that type of tweet sounds incriminating.
I could go on, man.
Here's the one difference, though. Chael Sonnen, when he was still fighting, he definitely wasn't a shareholder. He did that on all kinds of cards when he was still fighting for the UFC.
You're right. I didn't think about it. And he still does it to this day.
He does it for Bellator all the time.
So you never know still. But I wouldn't suspect him. But you know what? I'm not going to lie to you. I did kind of suspect him in Bellator. Ever since he started in Bellator. I was just like, why is he talking like this? Is he the promoter? I was confused.
He's very good at promoting. He promotes his own Submission Underground League. Mm-hmm. He is a commentator for Bellator and a fighter for Bellator. He wears a lot of hats. So him just getting into that, if it helps the greater good, it probably helps his bottom line as well. Even if it's not coming directly from Bellator per show, like when he fights, they might give him more of a rub in promotional work. More promotional time.
Yeah. And it just helps him in the long run anyways. It builds his brand.
Everything builds the brand, gives you more of the rub, you build. you go up.
UFC 236 tonight on ESPN Plus. 2 former opponents of mine go head-to-head for a second time in what will surely be a thriller. I predict another stoppage victory for Dustin in the sequel. It is always exciting to see former foes compete, and who knows, maybe future foes again also.
You do know he said this about Jose Aldo, not in the same words,
Yeah.
but he said it about Jose Aldo 2 months ago.
Yeah, that's
3
not going
months
to
ago.
happen. My prediction was,
Yeah.
and I think I talked to you about it, was, and it was supposed to be especially if Max won.
Mhm.
It holds true regardless, but I thought it would be especially if Max won. But the winner of Max, Dustin, gets the Conor rematch as soon as possible, July, August. I heard that they're doing an August card that's going to be big.
Yep.
I heard DC is going to be on that.
I believe that is August
My suspicion
28th?
is
Something like that.
DC is not going to get the big money fight with Brock that he wants.
You don't think so?
But because Dana White loves him so much, he's going to put DC and Stipe, or DC and whoever, I'm going to say Stipe, on the card with Conor. So DC, as a champion, still gets red pants tonight.
Up until this point, though,
Mhm.
Conor was saying on cards he fights on, he doesn't want anybody else that gets pay-per-view points.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he wants the pay-per-view points himself.
Oh, snap. Take
Yeah.
it back. I take it back.
There's a reason why Conor is hard to put on fight cards.
And exactly.
Because if he has someone else taking a chunk out of the pie,
it's less for
he
him.
has less of the pie to get for himself.
That makes sense. And that's why I didn't know
There's
that.
a reason why Mayweather was the big draw on every fight that he had, and then his
Nothing.
undercards had
He needed to get
very
all the
good
money.
fighters, but they didn't have the names.
I never
yet.
thought about that. That makes 100% sense.
It's a business.
But I did think something was up when he got kicked off of UFC 200. Because my thought process was, why would you put Conor on UFC 200? UFC 200 is going to sell anyways. Why don't you put him on another card and let it sell? So you got at least two big sales for the year. That was my thing. So anyways, I guess that throws out my theory that DC was going to get hand-wrapped the Conor McGregor card. So
don't get me wrong, it could happen.
Yeah.
But the likelihood of it, because of what Conor likes out of his career, it's lessened.
So listen, August, forget about DC now. I was going to say winner of Dustin Max gets Conor in August.
Yep.
And Khabib and Tony will fight in whenever Ramadan's done or whatever. And then those
He said he'd be back in September.
Right, so that would happen in September. Tony and Khabib would fight in September. And that would be just 1 month apart. So the winner of now would be Dustin. So the winner of Dustin Conor faces the winner for Khabib. That's what my thought was. But there's so many other people in the lightweight.
There's great thought to it. Tony has gotten some mental evaluations and has passed to a degree so far or whatever.
He's tweeting now too.
Yeah, but I think he has to go through quite a bit more before he's able to fight again yet. Yeah, so I don't, in my specific way, I don't, when I look at fights and when I look at card building and all that, I don't play with a deck that has variables as much as I play with the consistence. If I know that Conor wants to fight 3 times a year, and I know he's not injured, and I can get him to fight again for the 2nd time of the year, and then the 3rd time of the year, cool. That's house money.
Yeah.
If Conor now is looking at going to prison, I'm not trying to plan a fight right now with him until I know he's not gone.
Yeah, for sure. But listen, you don't need 6 months. You don't need 6 months to promote a Conor fight. You could
No. But what I'm saying though is Tony, in his specific way, was having mental problems brought on by head trauma. You have to, if you put him in any fight now, he takes a lot of head trauma in fights sometimes. If you put him in any fight now and he starts having issues after that fight, you're always gonna critique, should I have done something different? They're gonna put some real red tape around him before he fights again, probably. And it's not to condemn Tony Ferguson.
No.
It's to ensure the safety of the athlete and the safety that the brand doesn't take a major knock for him getting hurt, and heaven forbid he did something after a fight to someone that's not a professional fighter because of some head trauma he sustained. CTE is a thing, and MMA is a very new sport. We don't know those results of how the brain degrades over this type of punishment. We do in boxing to a great degree. We do in football to a great degree.
Yeah, because of the
North American football.
Right.
We don't know for MMA yet. The sport is evolving so much every few years right now. It's a process. In 30 years' time you'll have an idea, but right now we're not in the cave still. We're not in the cave times.
Right.
But we're not super far ahead either with regards to the evolutionary process of the sport. We're getting really close probably now to where the changes over the years, for a long time it used to be every 5 years. There was such a gap that you think back to fighters that were at their peak 5 years ago, and you go, they wouldn't be able to compete at all with the guys right now that are mid-card.
Yeah, for sure. Of course not.
As this progresses longer and longer, think of the differences in the game that boxers have. It doesn't change every 5 years. It changes every 10, 15 years now. Not every 5. It's not as big jumps and progression as fast.
Yeah.
Because it's leveled out now.
Definitely. Yeah, because it's just because MMA is just so new.
Yeah.
Like in anything.
It's
like,
very new.
Even like in just your own skill development, you're going to progress much faster at the beginning of learning the skill as opposed to when you have a good understanding of the skill.
Yeah.
The increases are not as drastic. Listen, we're going to wrap this up real quick here. But Alistair Overeem is, I don't really have a pick on that fight next week, April 20th against Alexei Olenek.
Yeah.
Only because I can't pronounce his name, so I can't predict that fight.
Yeah.
I've heard his name before.
Alexei's good. Alexei.
I don't really have much. Yeah, they both have a lot of fights. I don't really have much to say about him.
You don't have a lot of skin in that game.
No. No.
I
have to
don't follow Alexei a lot.
I
I know he's very good. I know he's fought some very good guys too. I've been a big Alistair Overeem fan for a long time, regardless of the fact he's positive for insane amounts of testosterone.
Greg Hardy's fighting again.
Greg Hardy, yeah.
They're not making that much noise about that. That's this
month. Because he had a foul, pretty bad one in that last one, and he's got a bad reputation that he's trying to correct right now. You don't want to. They shouldn't have put him on the main card of that one, anyways. I see the point.
Was he the main event?
He was the main card. He was
he's
co-main on that one.
He's main card on this one here too.
Yeah, like they're using his name. WME is going, hey ESPN, you had him competing in the National Football League.
Yeah.
His name is something. You put him up on the card.
We're gonna make
for the business.
Get a draw.
But it shouldn't be that high on the card.
There's so many fights coming up, but the fight that comes to me that I want to watch is Alex Oliveira and Mike Perry. I'm a big fan of Mike Perry.
Mike Perry's a good fighter.
Yeah.
Mike Perry is.
I like that. You could see changes in his game as well because he's just trying to get acquainted to what this whole world is like. I guess
he started training at Jackson's Jackson Winklejohn MMA 2-3 years ago, I think, maybe something like that. He was training in New York, I believe, before then. But when he went to Jackson Winklejohn's gym, in Albuquerque, New Mexico, he's got one of the top minds in the sport to help progress him. You know, he's gonna get better. He's great. He's not a super green fighter, but he's not a fighter. Like when you watch him fight, you go, okay, well, I can see you're still working things out.
Yeah.
As to where you watch a Max Holloway fight,
And you know,
and you go, he's polished, he's figuring things out on the fly, and he's making it adaptions. He's adapting during the fight, as to where a guy like Mike Perry, sure, he's adapting during the fight a little bit, but you know when he's going back to the corner, he's getting oversight that he can't see while he's doing it. It's hard. It's really hard to, if you spar somebody or wrestle somebody or do jiu-jitsu with somebody,
things
you
are
roll.
100% or closer to 100%.
When you're here in somebody's face, it's really hard to see the periph all around. Oh, their shoulders are starting to slump in. They're starting to get tired. Here, pump, jabs, and hooks to the body. Tire them out more. And make that guard come down. Make that guard come down and open up the head. That's a boxing thing specifically.
Right.
But you use it for MMA as well. Everything is progression to something. And the longer you're in it, the more you can adapt on your own to something. And then if you're just a freak like John Jones, you just have that natural gift ability that you were born with. And you just have an instinctual ability to go about things. Jones went, and he's out of Jackson Winklejohn's gym, and he went for the arguably one of the biggest brains in the sport. Brains. For game planning and all that, to help him improve to the level he needed to stay ahead, to get ahead originally.
Speaking of Jones, we're going to wrap this up, unfortunately, but Jones, Adesanya, something that we can look forward to in the future, hopefully maybe. Dana White's talking good things about it. Let's just see what happens. You never know.
Jones is a very big 205er, and Adesanya.
They're talking about it.
Oh yeah.
I watch every UFC pay-per-view, so I'm going to watch that one as well if that one comes up. Machida's son in Bellator is coming up soon. We didn't really get to talk much about that. We'll talk about that a little bit more next time.
Yeah. Bader signed with Bellator, the double champ.
Yes, Bader.
Josh Barnett signed with Bellator on Ariel Helwani's podcast, signed the contract in the studio.
Yes, I saw that.
Man, that's a fight he's probably going after if he hasn't said he wants it against Ryan Bader.
What about
going after the heavyweight champ?
I don't know why I did that, but
no.
Why not Fedor?
Because the last time they were supposed to fight was in a company called, it was in a promotion called Affliction.
Yeah.
And Josh Barnett tested positive, and Fedor said after that he wouldn't fight him.
Why do I have this written down? Does that mean anything to you?
Oh, that was just something I showed you through the week.
Okay. Do you want to talk about that or no?
No.
Okay, cool.
Not a big deal.
We spoke about everything. We're going to get out of here on our own terms today, as we always try and do, but we never get to do. I had a little bit more editing to do today. I think Tatiana Suarez and Nina Ansarov are going to be fighting soon. I'm looking forward to that. We talked about everything.
There's a lot of big fights coming up.
A lot of big fights coming up. We might need to start doing more episodes because there's just so much to talk about.
There's the in-between stuff that catches you, that on a weekend podcast, when you want to review a fight and prep for the next, you get TJ Dillashaw pop positive.
Right.
Or Conor McGregor did something stupid again.
Exactly. So for those things that we don't have the
we might
podcast for, you have our Instagram at the Jump MMA.
Yeah.
You can follow us at the Jump MMA on Twitter. We are Jump_MMA on Twitter.
Yeah.
Emails thejumpmma@gmail.com. Hit like, subscribe,
smash the bell icon for the post notifications on YouTube.
Yes, and anything else?
Enjoy the hostilities.
Until next time, the Jump. Okay, so firstly,